All right. We've heard your feedback from way back when we were rPlanet, rated rPlanet, that we didn't start quick enough. The intro was too long. I was in Twitch brain. Now we're YouTube, so it's totally different, apparently. So we're starting. My countdown's 7 seconds. I forgot that. So we're just rolling with it. Unfortunately, you all can actually log out now and just close your computers. I don't have a pun this week for Wax. I have nothing. It's been a frenzied evening over at my house. I know Jacob and I were talking, what we'll say backstage, if you will, about kids. And we both had a sick kid this past week. They're both fine. My sick kid just lost her mind tonight. She was exhausted, and she her new thing is to climb on me like a monkey. Cool, great, climb on dad. But we're also super hippy dippy people who are like my body, my choice kind of thing. So if dad doesn't want you to climb on him, you have to listen to him, because if you don't want to hug, you get that right too. She chose not to listen. Kind of dropped her a little hard. My wife was like, huh? What was that? But she just kind of hung out for a little bit. But then she lost it even further. So that was that. Then we chatted for a while. And then now I'm here. Just did another stream before then. I feel like a true influencer. Yes, Jacob.
Let's just make sure you're not too hippy dippy. Like, we're also the my body, my choice thing, right? Like, that's, that's good for body image. It's good for, potential sexual predator type things. There's a lot of benefits. Yeah. But you didn't go over the top in the my body, my choice. If you don't want to have your diaper changed, you can sit and shit all day, right?
No.
Okay. Okay, we're normal. We're not over the top. Good.
And I'll cross streams briefly. We do also bathe our children, not like Mila and Ashton.
Oh yeah, that was right, because that was what was it, Stoner Cats?
That's right. Yeah. Right. They basically hit the headlines for two things. We don't bathe our kids, and then we had a weird NFT project that kind of worked, but it exists on YouTube now.
It sold out for like 0.3 ETH each, right? That's like $2 million for however much. I think I did the math at some point. They made like $2 million just selling these NFTs.
That's right. Lou is asking, my body, my choice, am I on the right channel? Yes, you are, Lou. We are a broad reaching channel. Christopher Fisher, he's absolutely in the right spot for tonight. Waller will be the number one tight end in fantasy this year. We will get to NFT draft talk. That's going to be the meat of our show. Talking some hand in the dirt, NFTs, nerd stuff. It's going to be great.
But I mean, again, as we've talked about, I mean, I love how NFT draft really brings us back to our core, because we started as fantasy football nerds, got introduced to Top Shot. Top Shot became Street Fighter, which became rPlanet. And now we've come full circle that we're still in the wax world, but we're back to fantasy football. So I love it.
That's right. So let's briefly go back to our roots, unless you want to do more, you have more intro stuff before Lou kills us.
No, the only thing I want to say is maybe we should drop that Google form in the chat and just get people started on that. Going to be very simple. Just fill out, I think it's what, Tom? It's your name, your wax address, Twitter handle, boom, you get an entry. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, got to smash everything these days, the follow, the like, the subscribe. It's right. You can't just click it. You can't just click that little button. You got to smash it. If your computer has not broken by the end of it, you haven't done it right. But yeah, so subscribe, fill out the form that Tom just posted here. And yeah, that's the only other intro thing I wanted to get into before you can take us from here.
So let's go back to our roots. Let's talk rPlanet real quick.
Is it dead?
I mean, I wasn't going to go that far that fast. I mean, if you're following my wham, I'm finally doing the prudent thing 2 months ago and selling some stuff.
Yeah.
So we had an invention. We had library.
I invented library. I just didn't have the time or aether to actually get anything out of it.
Yeah.
I posted, for the record, Tom, you remember, I posted in our Discord channel, someone said, hey, someone tried, what was it, book 3 buildings? Or no, it was building in 3 books right after building was invented. And it failed. And I said, well, did they also try 2 buildings, 2 books? No one got back to me. I went about my day, and that night, all of a sudden, boom, library's invented, 2 buildings, 2 books. And I'm like, crap.
Yeah, so you did invent it, but you didn't get the money. It's a tough scene.
It is.
Also in our planet world, we had land upgrades. And so if you guys saw that green bar, the green bar on the chart, that was land upgrades.
Yeah.
What happened right after that, Jacob?
Yeah, it went right back down.
Took a big dump. So our hypothesis, we're apparently dumb, was land upgrades, wait till land upgrades. That's where people are going to dump their Aether. We miscalculated when we spent that time calculating how much Aether existed and will exist, and there's just too much Aether right now.
Well, and also there's too many minerals and nothing to do with it. So yes, we've got land upgrades, but that sort of, and I think some of the smarter guys than us, the sharper guys in our planet, had realized this beforehand, that not only is there too much Aether that it's not all just going to like disappear and get burned when people upgrade their lands, because using the minerals is not existent yet, and people have been building up minerals upon minerals for months. And now what are we going to do with land upgrades? We're not going to spend our minerals. We're just going to get more minerals. So it's a vicious cycle that's going to continue to, now we've got too much Aether. And yes, there's a little bit less Aether, but maybe not even, because of people burned Aether, or they've just been using FTs they already had in stock. So they haven't actually burned anything. And then on top of that, nobody's using the minerals yet. So people are just stockpiling minerals with nothing to do with it. So mineral prices are going down. And why would people be buying Aether to buy minerals when there's nothing to do with it?
Yeah, we're back in the same cycle, right? Which was there's nowhere to put the money, which is the same thing before the land. So just the Aether just sat there until people bought things to make more Aether. So our planet could rise from the dead. I could see it, and it's when the robots exist and they start just chewing up Aether, because at that point it will disappear, and that's what we really need. But I don't know when that's going to happen.
I mean, I could see it being something similar to Axes. I mean, I was just watching. I don't know anything about Axes except for that it's, something that the Filipinos apparently kept them alive during COVID when the economy was shut down, because they were playing it way back then and making money. And we know about Sneaky Biz and his his helpful Axie lady. But yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Axie until I watched this little video today about the Crypto Stash. You remember Crypto Stash?
Yeah.
So it came up on YouTube. It was a suggestion. It was a 10-minute long video. I watched it in 6, saying his top 3 favorite play to earn games, and in there was Gods Unchained, and then Axis was a second. And so watching it, Axie Infinity was basically, it's a fighting game. And it doesn't actually even look as cool. Like the graphics are somewhat better than our planet, but they're not cool robots. The robots they're like these cute little like cloud kind of Pokemon type creatures. And apparently you battle with them and you get tokens for it. And that's how people make their money, by buying and selling the Axes, which are NFTs. And when you battle, you get tokens that are, tradable for upgrades and things like that. And so, I could see our planet following in those footsteps. So, I mean, it's not dead, but for right now, it's kind of, on life support, and we need robots to, we were all excited a couple weeks ago, robots are coming. And then all we got was upgrades and too much supply of minerals and Aether and nothing to do with them.
Robots probably are coming.
I'm sure they are.
Early on, I asked, hey, has our planet ever missed a development deadline? The answer was no, and that's still true. And they have a lot of money to throw at dev resources and get this game made. So I think it could happen. I've changed from being an Omega bull to let's get some money out. I'm still in profit, thankfully, personally. I know Lou, Tough Scene, joined at the top. Same thing with you, Jeff. You bought some land at the top as well. Maybe not the top, but up there. That's fine.
I did the same
thing. Could jump back a little bit.
I'm also tilting on trying to be sharp and buy land at the right kind of land at the right price. And then I already had land and I made a lot of money flipping lands early on, like when it first came out and I got, on the whitelist. But then I also bought some more at the top and I've been paying dearly for it in lack of wax liquidity. But I mean, I really equate it. The whole thing is that, if you equate it back to like Top Shot, before when we all started and we thought it was like the bottom, we were the early adopters. all the actual early adopters, the alpha testers and the closed beta testers, they were all getting out. They were selling. And so this could be that point where like, yeah, things have gone south from its peak, but if we're cashing out, that doesn't mean that it's dead. It can mean that there's just a whole new crew of people that are never going to join until we have the fully functioning game. Like, I don't know if you saw it in the Discord earlier today, they were just talking about how the ones that have been truly successful and started to moon, like Splinterlands, which you wanted to talk about a little bit, or started looking into a little bit, and Axie Infinity, these all mooned because they already had a well-developed game. So in a year or two or even 5, if you hold on to some land, could it be worth 100 times what it is today and still be a really great ROI for you? Could be. So, I mean, I haven't given up hope on that, but on making 100x today and really, like becoming how rich, like an MBL and Top Shot or an Andy, that I've definitely given up hope on.
I really love that we aren't the kind of show that's going to give you calls and like, this is the next hot wax thing, because I'd be really bad at that. Jacob just said it could go up, it could go down. And I agree with that completely. I think you're going to be right.
That's if you ever listen to any like legitimate, like stock traders, and by traders I mean like actual investors, like a Warren Buffett type person, it's exactly that. It's, look, I have no idea. It's I believe in this company long term, but is it going to go up or down in the next week, month, year? I have no idea. As opposed to like the day trader guys who are like, here's the next hot stock, you got to buy right away. So we're the down to earth guys in the wax world.
Lou,
Lou. It's Funkos.
Perfect See, Jacob, you know what's going on. We're talking Funkos now. Perfect transition. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Jacob, into this incredible collaboration between Nickelodeon, TMNT. Do the kids still call it that? I don't care. And Funko. So this is dropping on, I believe it's Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters, right, Jacob? Thank you.
Well, only if you're talking to Denny Carter.
There you go. I actually don't. I live in the Eastern time zone, and I prefer Mountain or West. These look actually cool. I know we're all in it for the art. The art does look cool. I like that they move and not just in a circle. So that's pretty good.
But do they do anything? Like, do they have any utility?
As far as utility, I'm not sure about that. There is a very rare chance where, oh, look at this. Look at Rocksteady. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, that rare one?
Yeah.
Oh, I like the Leonardo. That is awesome.
This is what I was going to get to. The Leonardo is a physical redemption, so you can get an actual Funko. Oh. Last time this happened, Jacob, which you'll remember, for me at least, last time I aped in, I got some honey from Italy.
Yeah. Yes, you
did.
So
I want to get some Funko from a warehouse, maybe. I like this. This is the first I'm really digging into it, literally on stream, because King actually requested to talk about this, and he really just wanted one question answered, and it was already answered. So now I'm just browsing the website with you all as my friends. I did have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The question is, I don't know if we can pay via Wax, because I saw some financial stuff on another page. I'll get over there.
No, this looks very much like, I mean, it's the WDNY.io. That's where all of them have been. Street Fighter, I think, was definitely tops. Weezer was, let's see, what was it? Oh, Saw. So all of these have been on that website, and it's like you have to have a Wax username, but you can only do it by credit card. So Gotcha. It's fiat to Wax, which, for those of you who don't follow us closely or aren't in our Discord, which you're welcome to, the NFTDraft Discord is awesome, but so is the Deposit Kingdom. You're always welcome to join us there. We talk about lots of different NFTs. We also talk about lots of sports stuff. If you're into fantasy football, it's a great place to be. That's how I got in. But back to what I was saying. So we were talking about there. We've always talked about wanting to get into Wax as an investment, and the best way to do that is by buying things on credit card and then selling them for Wax. That is the most efficient way to get Wax. And a lot of times you make a nice profit doing that. So, why pay to exchange when you can get paid to exchange, dollars for wax? So just a word to the wise, those of us who might be watching who are not as savvy in the wax world as we are.
Yeah, that I think it's a wonderful point. I agree with Owit, which actually, Owit, let's go over here to your other comment. But will it lose value once you have the physical? We don't make calls, man. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. It's going to go one way or the other. Let's go with
this. Our call is it will either go up or down. It's not likely to stay the same.
Correct. Dana, to your question, there is not a limit on how many you can purchase, but there's a limit to $300 per transaction. So
interesting.
You can only buy $300 worth, which would be roughly 10 premium or 30 standards.
When's the free promo? I love getting those free promos. I'm sure everybody does.
I believe that's tomorrow.
I saw that. Is that tomorrow? Okay. I'll have to be ready.
Yeah, it's tomorrow at 2 p.m. You got to get in their Discord. So head over to wdny.io/Funko1.
You want to just drop the link in there for everyone?
That's a great idea. I was going to just tell them to Google Funko
NFT,
which is what I did.
Perfect.
I'm sold. It's a collector's dream.
Obviously.
What else do you want?
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. Okay.
All right. One thing I want you to bring up here. Let's scroll up a little bit. Do you see Tim's comment? Find a project you truly believe in and roll with it.
I saw that. Yeah.
So Tim, I just want to say, as someone who is very much a diversification type person, someone who's deep in the financial industry in general outside of NFTs for like my real professional job, which I won't get too deep into, but it has to do with finance a lot. That is what we call putting all your eggs in one basket. And it's not, like that can work out well. If you're doing that, please just don't put in more than you can afford. It's like in DFS when we talk about your bankroll. Like if you want to put all your eggs in one basket, you can do that, but just make sure that those are eggs that you're okay with losing. Personally, I'm all about diversification. So there you go. Not financial advice, but that is the not financial advice that I would like to give tonight. Should we talk about NFT draft now?
I think we should. The people are here. The people are interested in NFT draft. I think they just want us for our pretty packs. Tim, you're good. Let's pull Tim behind the curtain of content creation. I've done all of like 10 streams ever. We just use the chat and then we talk about stuff. So Tim, we picked you out. We don't mean anything by it. You provided us with some content we can describe and get off a take, which is diversify what you want to do.
Right, exactly. Tim, it's not necessarily saying like, oh, I think you're going to go ahead and you're going to like make some really poor financial decisions. It's just if I see that in the chat, I want to call it out so that, anyone who may have read it and misunderstood it, I want them to just make sure that, where we feel what our opinions are. So, like Tom said, we're basically just using the comments we see to our advantage.
That's right. We are using you, chat. You should use us. Okay, Tim, now I want you to do something where we can offend you, please.
All right, let's figure it out. Okay, we have to find out what will offend Tim and go do it right now. Or we could just talk about fantasy football because that's what we're really here for.
Correct. Here's a great transition. Matthew, coming
yes.
I'm excited, but I'm not good with football. I'm going to call on a friend to help me with all my cards. Not sure how it's going to go, but I got like 400 to 500 cards right now. Matthew, you have a belief. You say, hey, people like NFTs, people like football. Here's my money. I'm going to make some money. I did that too. And I'm already up based on my initial investment financially. And I'm excited about the game.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Let me ask you on this topic. Are you in the NFT draft Discord?
Yes. I don't watch nearly as much.
Have you noticed they've got like the 3 different colors and the roles, what they are?
Oh, yes.
The fantasy football, the NFT guys, and then the guys who do both. I think, first of all, that's really cool. They have that. And the fact that they've got so many, if you go through it, there's a whole bunch in all 3 different categories, which is cool to me that we're really bridging the world. But did you notice someone who has come up very recently, someone that you will remember from rPlanet? And this makes me bullish on NFT draft because he is in on this.
Yes, I did notice.
Who am I thinking of? Who is it?
it's time to pack the kids and go to the bowling alley. Van's in town. He's
That's
a
right.
big fan of NFT Draft. He built a tool. I like that tool. Honestly, I think he bailed out NFT Draft. They had a rough opening for packs. I have not opened a pack because I was terrified.
Oh, it works. I tested it twice.
Oh, twice. Look at
Well,
you.
once the other day to make sure that we could open packs on stream, and then once right now because I wasn't 100% certain that my internet will work so well. Because when I went back to the site and reloaded it, all my promo packs showed up, but my other non-promo packs just came up with like the little image thing when it doesn't actually load. So I was worried that it wouldn't work, but I opened it, it worked, except it did the same thing with the cards too. So we can still try to rip a couple of packs. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, so in the chat we had Matthew. He was hoping that his professional fantasy football friend could grasp the differences in the mechanics between this and real, true fantasy football, what we remember. So some of the differences are you're not drafting players, you're drafting their role. You're drafting a role on a team. So you're not drafting Aaron Rodgers. You're drafting QB1 of Green Bay. You're not drafting who's a different example that I was going to be kind of trolly. Oh, running back 1. You're not drafting Tony Pollard. You're drafting running back 1 on the Dallas Cowboys. For example.
Yeah, there you go. That's your troll, calling Tony Pollard RB number 1. But that does get into some of the interesting game theory. So for those who play DraftKings, I noticed today that apart from kicker, which doesn't exist on DraftKings, all the scoring is literally exactly the same. If you ever played on DraftKings, the bonuses that they have are the same. It's PPR, just like DraftKings. The only difference is that kickers don't exist on DraftKings. Here we have either kicker and defense together or separate. It's basically the same number of points, so I'm not sure quite how much it makes a difference. But technically those are the different options. And for kickers, what you need to know is there's basically 5 categories. You've got extra point is 1 point. Anything below 40-yard field goal is 3 points. 40 to 49 is 4 points. 50 to 59 is 5 points. And then a missed field goal or a missed extra point is -1, which most places don't have. I've done that before because it's cool and it's fun and it adds a little bit, like an interception, things like that. Fumbles, You've got something where a kicker can actually lose points for being terrible. Usually I've only done it with extra points because like field goals, if you're kicking like a 70-yarder at the end of the game to try and tie it up and you're not going to hit it, like why do you lose a point for that? But it's still a cool concept.
So the main thrust that we were going to do is talk about a position draft today. And then
you upset CES Aaron.
What?
He said that's not
I
funny.
Did.
Zeke will eat this season. You managed to offend someone. You couldn't offend.
This is very okay. Maybe football's content is easy. Maybe just say hot takes and then people disagree with you, and that's great. Maybe that's how it goes. I don't know. Pollard could outscore Zeke, even with both of them on the field. They've already said Zeke's going to get rested more for the playoffs, so he's going to get less run, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, but that's also preseason coach speak. So is he a good dart throw in like a best ball or even late round in a redraft? I would say probably yeah, but I would not put all my eggs in that basket.
No, this is like 9th round stuff. This is definitely hot takey as far as me saying he'll be better than Zeke. That's all.
Should we also talk about the point system a little bit for those who are unfamiliar?
Well, before we get there, actually, we'll go to points next, but let's talk about the QB1, what that means, because how do you determine who was the QB1 or RB1 versus RB2? It is not who scores the most points on the week, which would be best ball-ish within the team. It is whoever is number 1 or number 2 on the depth chart as of Sunday morning at a specific time based on CBS Sports. So that's a little bit of a different nuance there. So talking strategy, I like ambiguity now. I want messy positions. I don't know why I thought I was going to be clever with that. And then Jacob just said, oh yeah. And now I'm like, oh good. He's going to do the same thing that I'm doing. But that's what you want to do is you don't want necessarily those clear-cut starters. Take, for example, 2 weeks ago or whatever, Cam Akers. You love Cam Akers. If you think Darrell Henderson's not that great, you don't necessarily want running back 1 there, because if Cam Akers goes down, Darrell Henderson might be garbage. I don't think that, but you might want to avoid that in this format. So you wanted to talk points per position before I hijacked the conversation. So what do you have on points per position?
Yeah, so someone pointed out recently that the points aren't going to change, right? So player values will change over the course of the season, both good and bad. Like right now, let's say, I don't know if people are going after Chicago QB1. Let me take a look. I've got the chart up here. You can bring it up if you want to. I'm just looking at it locally on my computer. But as a good example, right? So Chicago QB1 is 16 points. Common, only looking at common, which is the second cheapest. And right now, nobody's going to want that because there's a good chance that could be Andy Dalton or Nick Foles. But people who are into Justin Fields might want to invest in that because that's cheap. Because if and when Fields takes over, suddenly that 16 points is going to be a huge stud. And so when it comes down, so the point being that the points are not going to change throughout the season. So like compared to DraftKings where you've got a salary and every single week the salary is going to change, some things will get chalkier throughout the season, but also that means that there's opportunity if you're shrewder getting the right pieces early on, right? Like what do you do in DraftKings? You can't take advantage of, unless it's best ball, and even then there's a lot of luck involved. You can't like hold on to Justin Fields or Trey Lance for later in the season. But here you can take the Chicago QB1, or if you really want to go nuts, right? If Justin Fields is the QB2 for the week, and something like a Justin Herbert situation from last year comes out, and you're ready with that cheap, like 5-6 point player who just goes in and takes over, or you even want to take a risk and say, you know what, I think that maybe there's a chance that Foles or Dalton is so bad that he gets benched and Justin Fields puts up like 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in the second half. There's so much opportunity there, and there's in some ways it'll make things might make things worse by the end of the season when it's really chalky and just the guys who lucked out with promotions and injuries and they had those cheap cards that they're winning. But if you're on the front end of that and you're taking chances and buying up these NFTs of the cards early on that you think have those chances, that makes it better. You're talking about ambiguous situations. If anyone wants to learn more about football and has yet to check out the Late Round podcast by JJ Zacharyson, I religiously listen to that, and all he talks about are ambiguous situations, and especially for running back, wide receiver, and that's exactly where we can take advantage of those ambiguous situations, not just in redraft, not just in like DraftKings, but here as well. It's a huge opportunity. And now I see that Tom is highlighting some things. So I think he's ready to get into our little draft here.
Oh, this is nothing. Don't pay attention to this. It's not that.
Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain.
Here's what's really going on. I was thinking, okay, who do I think is undervalued and overvalued? Tua could smash. He should not be the lowest priced quarterback.
There's an even better than that one.
Oh, do you have Cincinnati?
Oh yeah, Cincinnati QB1 is the cheapest QB1. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's pretty egregious. And as far as overvalued, I'm just on this lower half of the league. Cleveland, I was thinking about like risk and downside. I don't know who Baker's backup is. I follow the NFL fairly closely. That tells me I don't want the Cleveland QB1 because if Baker gets hurt, it's going to be bad. So I'm going to avoid them. Let's jump into the draft. And
well, I think we just started. I think you just took Miami QB1 as your QB1, and I took Cincinnati as mine.
Okay, I like that.
But here's the other thing is that you got to look at it. So I started looking at it from two different perspectives. There's value, and there's just like the trying to get the best point per dollar. So I looked at it two different ways. When I sorted it as low to high and said, okay, who is egregiously sticking out here as someone that's a huge value because they're cheap, just because they're cheap, I said, okay, Cincy QB1. But if you look at it from the other perspective, if you go down the list and say, okay, let me take like my top 5 QBs. Who do I think are the 5 guys that have a chance, not necessarily 100%, but a chance to be the number 1 QB this year, right? So in my mind, that's like Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, obviously Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson, and then figure out from there, okay, of those guys, who is cheapest? And I came up with either Baltimore QB1 at 17 or Dallas QB1 at 16. So for 1 or 2 more points than a Joe Burrow, a Tua Tagovailoa, you can get Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott.
I am impressed with your Tua pronunciation. You said it bravely. I don't know if you said it correctly. So
I'm pretty sure bravery. I watched a lot of Moana for the past couple of years, and so I'm used to the Hawaiian pronunciations now, the Polynesian.
Are you a college football fan, Jacob, or just NFL?
Mostly just NFL, but I follow Tua a little bit. Tua's little brother actually plays for my alma mater.
Go Terps. Dante Demas. It's a name to remember for the Terps. There you go. I was going to get you to pronounce DJ, the quarterback for Clemson. DJ, I don't know his last name.
I don't know him. I don't follow college football enough.
Yeah, that's one to watch out for. He's going to be awesome, and we'll learn his last name shortly, I'm sure. Okay, so we got our QBs locked down. We got Cincy and Miami, Jacob and Tom. What do you have for running back?
So here's where it starts to get a little bit more interesting because, again, you can look at this the same 2 ways. Oh, I did call out San Diego. So we should probably let the NFT draft team know that there is no team in San Diego. That just like there's New York green and New York blue, they need LA baby blue and LA whatever the Rams colors are. But there is no San Diego team. Just good for them to know that. But yeah, so back on this topic. So again, this is a lot of where you got to take some risk, but you also have to you can be savvy. So, going with the first way of who could be the number 1 type guy that's somewhat undervalued, that to me would be probably either San Diego or Washington, but don't write that down just yet, because the real guy, if you want to take a huge, well, probably not a huge risk, but a huge upside play, it's Jacksonville RB number 3, because there's a chance, if you look at what Coach Urban Meyer has been saying, he's saying that Travis Etienne is going to be their third down guy, and that's it. That you've got Carlos Hyde and James Robinson between the tackles on first and second. He's like, Carlos Hyde's going to be the first down guy. James Robinson's going to be the second round guy. Travis Etienne's the third round guy. So if they come out with a depth chart, and CBS Sports depth chart has Travis Etienne at RB3, and he's only 4 points because that is the Jacksonville RB3, that is just ridiculous value right there until he gets promoted, and then you're stuck with Carlos Hyde as the 4-point guy. So that's like early season. You want to also be prepared for later in the season, but for early season week 1, that would be my value play right there. Okay,
so you're talking value. Jacksonville RB3. I did not even dig that deep in my brain of, okay, RB3. I'm going to go with San Francisco RB1. And following in J.J. Zacharyason's footsteps, it's ambiguity. I don't know who their running back 1 is going to be on any week. What I do know about San Francisco is they're going to run the ball. They're going to run a lot. They're going to be favored a lot. They have a very easy playoff schedule in the fantasy football playoffs, which for us is weeks 14 through 17, I believe. It's easy. What that means is they're going to run more. What that means is more opportunities for the running backs to score. They are the cheapest running back team. They're tied for the cheapest, I guess, is the way to put it. So the ambiguity, I want to lean into that and say someone's going to score points, and whoever's the first one is a good bet. And then if Raheem Mostert or Trey Sermon gets injured, they get a boo-boo, the backup comes in, now the RB1 for the next week, and you're ready to line them up and go. So I love San Francisco RB1 right now as a value.
That's where I think on the secondary market, a lot of what you're talking about, that's where the value really is the ambiguity drives the points price for these players down for what they're being set up for. And then it's also that it drives the price down on the secondary market that, if people are thinking, well, I'm going to be stuck with Raheem Mostert and he's going to get hurt and he's going to get me nothing, but someone else comes in and says, well, I'm going to buy this because eventually it will be Trey Sermon. That's where the value comes in on that regard. So there's a ton of game theory here. But again, a lot of it's going to have to do with, well, how does it turn out, when you get to that playoffs and suddenly the points for some players are completely out of whack. And it's like, well, you got to have these guys because it's just so obvious that these are the plays and the just like we talk about in DraftKings and FanDuel, the pricing hasn't caught up yet. They're overpriced, underpriced. That's not going to change. So there will be overpriced and underpriced players on a points basis. Did you see what in the chat here? So we've got two different, opinions, right? One on top of the other. You've got Crypto Kanoi saying, I have Baltimore, Cincy, and Miami QB1s, basically going with these guys are ridiculously cheap for the value they're bringing you. And then you've got CES Aaron saying, I need the QB1 GOAT card. I need Patrick Mahomes. I don't care that he's so expensive. He's going to save me a point or two by getting the GOAT. It's going to add me a few percentage points more. And just so you guys know, we talked about this with Alex, and they bring it up, and we talk about this. It's been a lot of talk about the GOAT cards and how there is value to them, but don't necessarily overvalue them. In some ways, the points and the reduced points might be worth more than the bonuses. I mean, it's a 3% bonus for the MVP card. It's like a 5% bonus for the GOAT card. I mean, in the best case scenario, the best game of the year, let's say Mahomes puts up 50 points. A 5% bonus is only 2.5 points. Now, could that make or break you? It could, but how much are you spending on that card? Because they called out in the Discord, and we called out in our Discord because we had the person who sold it, that someone bought the Chicago RB1 GOAT card, not GOAT card, MVP card with the 3-point bonus and maybe a point or two shaved off for 1,900 wax. And Chicago RB2 was actually one of those that I was thinking of putting on here because David Montgomery, we know what he was, and he might even be overvalued at this point based on what he did last year. But with Tariq Cohen coming back, maybe being the RB2, maybe Damian Williams, who was great for the Chiefs in that Super Bowl run before he opted out for COVID last year, ambiguity is non-existent in the Chicago RB1, but it is way there in the Chicago RB2. So to spend a lot of money, and I'm not saying it was necessarily the wrong move. I think it was, whoever bought it, I'm sure they had their reasons to buy it, but whoever sold it, that was the thought process is that there might be some overvalue on those better cards.
Jacob, you're so polite. I'm sure they had their reasons. They just escape me right now.
I'm from the Midwest. Could be. I live in the Midwest now. We were just having a conversation about Midwest versus Southerners. That it's like both in the Midwest and in the South. If someone's breaking into your house, you can expect they're going to get shot. But correct. The Midwesterner will feel bad about it. Oh,
yeah, I live in rural South, the South, and I live in a development like a neighborhood, so it's fine. It's different than a rural road, which, unless I know the person, I'm not just going up to your door to say hello. Just not.
Do you live near JJ? Do you know if you live near JJ? I know he's in the same state as you.
Yeah, I live 2 hours away. He's in Charlotte.
That's not all close.
Yeah. All right, Jacob. Let's talk wide receivers. It's my favorite position. It's the only position that matters.
The only position that matters.
That's right.
Well, first, actually, I keep forgetting that Matthew Bullock, who's talking about his kids, he brought them up a while ago because he's the one who said before, if you remember, that he doesn't know anything about football, and he pointed out that he has 4 kids and about 1 million different wax investments. So I just want to say kudos to you, Matthew. Tom and I, we both have kids. I've got 3. Tom, you've got 2, right?
Yeah, that's right.
2. And so we get there, or we get you. We've been there. So just wanted to make sure that you are heard, and we do get that it is tough to manage 1 million different wax investments. Tom's got 3 different streams he's doing now, including this one. He's in the ETH world, he's in the wax world. So, and managing kids, it's not easy, but it is fun. Okay, back to wide receivers. Did you notice something? I didn't spend don't make it sound like I spent hours poring over this data, because I didn't. It was 10, 15 minutes. But
do it.
What I did do was I noticed that a lot of these ambiguous situations there actually isn't any point advantage. There might be a price advantage on the open market. I haven't looked at that. But for instance, like Cleveland wide receiver 1, which I thought stood out to me as a value, and I actually just drew that a common in one of my promo packs. I was super excited. I was like, I just got Odell Beckham. And then I thought, well, maybe I got Jarvis Landry. But if you look at wide receiver 2 Cleveland, it is also 15. So some of these ambiguous situations, they were sharp in pricing these guys out that do I have Beckham? Do I have Landry? I don't know. I'm not sure I really care, because if it's Beckham and he gets hurt, it'll be Landry anyway. But it's not one of those where I can like arbitrage and say, well, I think Landry's going to be better and I'm going to get the wide receiver 2 because I'm going to save points on it because they're the same value. Unless, of course, on the secondary market it's cheaper, because I haven't looked at that.
So you're doing Cleveland wide receiver 1?
Yeah, let's go with that.
I had to do that. That's probably on me not listening. I was doing the chat. I was doing numbers. Okay. I think you're just dead wrong here, Jacob. Cleveland, like Odell, it's his redemption story now.
Or it's Landry. It's the ambiguous situation. That's one of the benefits here, is that if it's not Beckham, it could be Landry, and Landry is just a PPR hog.
True. We're going to go Miami on my side.
But who is Miami wide receiver 1?
Who cares? I don't care. We're talking ambiguity. We got Jalen Waddle.
I need your hot take. Is he your wide receiver 1?
No. It's Will Fuller. Then we've got Devontae Parker. So my point is they've got 3 very strong, game-breaking, potentially in different ways, though, wide receivers. Waddle takes a short pass and runs for a long time. Devontae can body up a defensive back pretty easily, catch the red zone passes from Tua. And then Will Fuller is just a field stretcher as well. Add in Gesicki plus Tua feeling more comfortable now.
Gesicki's on the COVID list right now.
It's fine.
I'm just pointing it out.
I had no idea, actually. I'm not concerned about that yet.
Yeah, I was in the middle of a best ball draft, and I was looking, and he had the C19 next to his name.
Interesting. I wonder whether it's close contact or positive or whatever. That's another wrinkle. That's a good question for NFTDraft. What are they going to do when a game gets postponed, or if?
Well, we don't even know. Have we gotten the question answered? Maybe someone in the chat knows who knows a little bit more than we do on some of the intricacies here about what's it called? Wait, is Thomas saying that 1900 wax was a steal in a good way or a bad way? Because
good way.
Mayhem was saying that he may have even underpriced it, but I was like, dude, you probably made all your money back and then some just on that one card. Like, don't complain about the profits. But what I was trying to say is, does the chat know if there's going to be a late swap option? Because I believe that we heard that there's not going to be like third. Because you asked him last week, and Alex said it's just going to be like week 1, week 2, week 3, not like Thursday games, Sunday games, Monday. So there needs to be a late swap, like in regular fantasy football. But I don't know if they actually confirmed that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I think it's a
maybe
good
the
question.
chat can't for us.
Outstanding.
Waddle's kind of lame.
Tight end. Who you got?
Ooh, tight end is a tricky one. So again, well, all right. So you go first. Is it Darren Waller?
Wait, Lou's trolling. Yeah, we all watch the Swolecast. Thank you, Lou. If you don't watch the Swolecast, you should. You won't get information, but it's very entertaining. Devontae Parker can body Stephon Gilmore. Thank you. There you go. Tight end, I'll go first then. I think I'm going New England. New England TE1.
Interesting.
And again, I hate to be boring and say the same thing repeatedly, but it's ambiguity there. Is it Hunter Henry? Is it Jonnu Smith? Fun storyline. They signed Jonnu Smith earlier, and they didn't really tell him they were signing Hunter Henry. So then,
oh man,
is Jonnu mad? I don't know, but he got paid, so he's probably happy. So if it's Jonnu or Hunter,
you put him on my side, not your side.
Oh, you're right. The brain goes left to right instead of right to left.
Are you not concerned about who the quarterback is, though? Because what if that quarterback cannot get either one of them the ball?
Short passes, I'll hold this cliche over you. Young quarterbacks like the tight ends as their targets, their security blanket, if you will. Remember Jason Witten with probably 4 or 5 young quarterbacks, security blanket. Jason Witten, the 5-yard button hook, always there. So I think that's where
Well,
we're
what
going
if
to
it's the
go with
wrong
those
one?
tight ends in New England.
I mean, yes, there's the ambiguity there, but that goes back to what I was saying. I looked at that. So I looked at New England and I said maybe, and then I said nah, because New England tight end 1 is 11, New England tight end 2 is 10, and one of my favorite sleepers at tight end, and I'm sure you're not gonna be shocked at all when I say this, but one of my favorite sleepers at tight end
Evan
in
Ingram.
general, not Evan Ingram. No. No, he's not a sleeper. He's a asleep on the field, drops the ball too much, type player. I am through with Evan Ingram. Don't get me tilting on Evan Ingram.
Okay.
I had him in Dynasty for a little while. I drafted him as a homer pick. He was great for the first year for me. I'm a Giants fan. For those who don't know, I grew up in New York. Then I moved to Kansas City. So my 2 teams are the Giants and the Chiefs. So Evan Ingram was very much in a rookie draft in that Dynasty League, a homer pick. And I'm very much tilting because the Giants would be a much better team if he could catch the ball or if they, threw to other players who could catch the ball instead. Like, Kenny Galladay this year. But my sleeper, again, you're not going to be surprised because I'm sure, we're in the same chats. We all hear, we listen to the same podcast. We all hear the same talk as to who some of these guys are. This guy only costs 8 points as a common. Okay. So to put that in perspective, you've got, they did very good pricing on this, right? So you've got Kansas City, Travis Kelce's number is 20 points. San Francisco and Vegas tied at 19. Atlanta 17. Then you got a bunch of guys that I don't really like as much at 15, except for maybe, Detroit or Baltimore, maybe even Denver. But all the way down at number 8, one of my favorite sleepers, Gerald Everett, Seattle tight end 1. With 8 points is who I'm going with.
Do we actually think Russ is going to cook?
I think Russ can cook. They brought in like a new offense coordinator. They hopefully someone took a look and saw that they did much better when they let Russ cook last year than when they didn't. A lot of people are saying that Tyler Lockett is undervalued. I should probably double check on where wide receiver 1 and 2 are for Seattle, because those could be good opportunities. Looks like no, they're expensive. Well, DK Metcalf is 20 points, and then let's see, Seattle and Tyler Lockett is 18 points. So good cards, but kind of expensive on the point side. But Gerald Everett, I think, again, this is like my Travis Etienne take. This is not Cincy QB1 where I'm sure that Joe Burrow is going to put up loads of points and be really cheap at 15. This is, I think that if you go out and buy this card for cheap right now, you could end up holding a stud at the end of the year that you can play for a very small amount of points.
John MC, we want to be in a big tent show. I know you're here for wax. That's great. If you want to play the game, we'll give you some of that too sometimes. We like Jacob mentioned, we like football, so we're going to talk some football. I enjoy talking football. Also, Matty Daddy will hook you up in the NFTDraft Discord and on
he's
Twitch.
got some good. If you watch their stuff, Matty Daddy's got some good stuff where the Twitch. I watched a couple of the quick YouTube ones, and I was like, this is really good information for a newbie, and it's kind of useless for me because I've been playing fantasy football for like 15 years. So yeah, it's great stuff for newbies who want to get in. If you're in on the wax side, I think NFT Draft is a good opportunity. And if you want to learn more about football so you can be savvy and do well and make some wax this year playing NFT Draft, definitely check out Matty Daddy's stuff. And then you can come back and talk to us too, because we love to talk football all the time.
All right. Again, peeling back behind the curtain, I forgot about defense and kickers. Jacob's like, hey, what about defense and kickers, Tom? I go, okay, we'll do those too. So I have one defense and kicker on my list. Please don't take it.
Uh-oh. Who is it? All right. Well, hopefully I don't snipe you. I have the team that does not exist.
Oh, we'll call them San Diego.
San Diego. Yeah, I mean, they're only 12 points for defense and kicker, as opposed to San Diego kicker is 10 points and San Diego defense is 7 points. They're the cheapest defense and kicker. And since they moved to LA, they've just been an underperforming team. I mean, they've had some great guys on like the defensive line. They've got some great guys in the, in the secondary, and they just never put it together for. Oh, and they also are famous for their kickers just missing field goals for just the flukiest reason. Yeah, Younghoe Koo was awful, and then he goes to Atlanta and he's the best kicker in the league. So that regression, unless you really believe in curses and jinxes, you got to believe in one or the other. You either believe in curses and jinxes, in which case San Diego / LA Baby Blue. I like calling them LA Baby Blue. They are just cursed, and so those 12 points are basically just burning them. Or you believe in regression, and eventually things will turn around, and they'll stop just having the flukiest reasons why they miss all these field goals, in which case they will be very successful.
Okay. I should actually just pick kicker, but I gotta say, I don't know the scoring well enough yet to really sort it out.
I just told it to you, and you don't know it. I literally listed the 5 kicking scores.
But it's also the defense, so I don't know whether to weigh defense only or kicker only or combine them both. We're just going to combine them because of my thesis of the play. We're going to go Arizona. I'm team fun, if you can tell. I like Arizona, and here's why: for defense and for kickers. They're high-paced. They're going to run a lot of plays. They're going to throw a lot, potentially, and that leads to turnovers on both sides, which leads to increased tempo, more plays, more turnovers. I like turnovers. Also, kick Kingsbury. I'm the first one to ever say that, I'm sure. Loves to kick short field goals, which will help the kicker for the Cardinals. So Arizona, relatively quick thesis for that team on my part, which is just fast equals turnovers. Cliff Kingsbury, fake sharp Kingsbury is going to kick a lot of field goals. So that's our guy.
Well, it's a good point, though, that with kicker, that's really where this whole thing comes into play. I mean, how often do we see that kickers miss a field goal and they're cut the next day and somebody else gets brought in? Or, they don't get cut immediately. They bring in someone else for tryouts just to, light a fire, and, 2 days later, that guy's the new kicker and this one gets kicked to the curb. So kickers are definitely somewhere where you don't want to invest – where it's great that you have the opportunity to not have to invest in a player, but invest in a team. Because like Tom said, if you look into, and this goes really deep, so those guys who are talking about, like Matthew and John, who are still working on the basics, don't go all degen like us. But there are data out there showing what coaches prefer to kick field goals when it's, when you're close versus go for it on 4th down. The analytics say that you should go for it on 4th down, but the old school coaches like to kick it. So if you target those teams that are more likely to kick the ball, that could definitely get you some more points on those field goals.
All right, Jacob. I think it's about time. I think it's about time for the giveaways, because I just realized we have a lot of giveaways. So I believe we're going to be spinning this wheel for a while. So how many are we going to do today?
I think that are we doing them all, or are we going to save some for later?
I think we should save some for later. For later, we've got 15 total to give out. I think we should give 10 out today because I'm feeling charitable, and I think we should do 2 per. And here's why: they're all in my account right now, and I don't want to do double the work, so I'll just give you double the packs and do 1 transaction.
All right, so we'll have 5 winners, 2 packs per winner. That's 10 cards. That's nice. I wanna touch on what Thomas and Aaron are talking about there on the points, which is I don't know if you know about this, what the maximum number of points are, and then the other question is, is there a maximum number of players you can have, or is it just purely points? Because if I can stack Seattle tight end 1 with Jacksonville running back 3, and that's the same number of points as my San Diego defense kicker. I mean, that's huge. I can get a bunch of these value guys, and I don't need that many to hit. It's throw all these darts against the wall and hope a few of them hit, because I just have such a loaded team in pure quantity of players, versus if there's also a maximum number of players I can use, in which case I want to go for the higher points but better players.
Just points per Josh, who confidently says just points.
And you get all the points that they get. So like if Travis Etienne is RB3 and he scores 5 points for my 4 points, and then I can also have Chicago RB1 for 15 points and he gets 15 points. I can stack all those up. That's awesome.
Let's stack those points.
Travis Etienne, I'm telling you, RB3, Jack's RB3.
I like it.
That's the value play. All right, let's spin this wheel. Let's do 5, and then we'll make sure that we get if we don't already have your wax name, which we should, because if you're watching, then you filled out the form, and then we have your wax name, your wham. But if not, we'll get that from you, and after that, let's rip some packs. What do you say?
Back 9 guy.
Back 9 guy.
He likes golfing. I don't know how I feel about that. Let me write this down.
Well, maybe he likes football too.
That's true. Back 9 guy, congratulations. Here's what I'm going to do, though. Because I don't want to actually, we'll remove him anyway. That's fine.
Yeah.
Some people registered twice, which I think is great and is okay, because that means you were listening and you liked us on Twitter. So that's perfect.
Don't forget to subscribe. Gotta get those subscriptions. Plus, I'm going to pump your bags a little bit right now, Tom. Tom has not just this stream. If you're into the avatar streets, the Ethereum avatar NFTs, he's got Club NGMI same time tomorrow night, every Monday. And every day, he's giving away free Mintopoly money. For anyone who likes to play Mintopoly or doesn't know what that is, go to mintopoly.io. He gives his Mintopoly minute, and every day when he goes over on his minute, he gives away Mintopoly money.
Yeah, don't say that I'm giving away money. I'm almost hitting the minute every time. Have you not got over 2 out of 2 times?
There's
a delay in closing the stream, and that's my current issue. I need to get better I need to close it at like 58 seconds. But it's fine. If you want to watch, it's going to be my slow descent into delirium. So if you want to watch that, feel free. I believe this is King. No,
Snap Saz. Oh, he was one of the Twitter guys. I recognize him.
Lou, just hammering edges. Here's the dirty secret about Monopoly money. It's worth $0.
Mintopoly money.
It's worth nothing, but that's fine. They're in the Discord. They're talking liquidity pools somehow. I don't like. This could go somewhere. I'm excited about it.
But you know what? It's what they always say about the Monopoly money. It's worth the paper that it's printed on. Mintopoly money is also worth the paper that it's printed on.
King, talk about run bad. You have been skipped over twice now. Turbo Neo Geo, I love it. Thank you for hanging out. I think you're one of the first people in the chat today, and you had your name stuck out, so I remember that name. Subscribe. Go ahead.
Was that number 4 that we're on?
This is 5 right here. This is it.
What do we got? Final winner, we have Dynasty. That is a football name. That is better than Back 9 guy.
Yep. Correct.
We started low with golf, but we graduated.
That's right. All right, Lou, we're not giving away any more packs because our timer's almost up. We've been up for 58 minutes, 51 seconds. We're not going to a full hour.
Can we rip?
Oh, you want to rip?
I mean, there's no. It's not like the trains last week, unless you want to do Green Rabbit. Green Rabbit has some cool graphics, but we can save that for next week. This is very much. But let's rip one pack.
Yeah, rip one. I don't.
What should we rip? Should we rip the promo pack? Should we rip the? There's really no graphics to it. Or should we rip the Captain pack?
Do the Captain pack.
All right. So here's the thing with the Captain pack. I bought it because it made sense, but also there is. Don't worry, we'll do more giveaways. Just make sure you're subscribing and liking and following Wax at Wax World. Here, I'll change my. I don't remember how to change my. Here, can you just put it in the comments? At Wax World NFT is our Twitter handle for those who don't know. There'll also be an audio version. So in general, if you want to just listen rather than watch us, you can do that. Thank you. There we go. At Waxworld NFT. So they posted in the Discord. There's an announcement that said that whereas they promised guaranteed like standout MVP, in the captain packs, which is part of my thesis for buying it, was I'll definitely get a better one. They came out and said, actually, that was sort of a miscommunication. I don't know if you saw this, Tom.
I did.
Where basically it was based upon the math. The math said that reasonably speaking, if it's 1 in every 20 cards and you have a 25 card pack, you're guaranteed to get a standout. But you don't actually, that's not how the math works when it's been randomly generated. And they did confirm that all the packs have actually been randomly generated. So we could keep up my streak of last week and we could get 250 common cards, or maybe we'll actually get lucky and hit the nuts this time.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna go.
I'm not banking on it. All right.
Here's what I'm actually rooting for. Like, in all seriousness, I'm rooting for like tight end 3 of the Raiders GOAT card. That's what I want. I want a good bad card.
All right. Well, you can see the 10 that I've ripped right now. Do you see them? Are we up here? Yeah, here we go. So we've got I saw Kansas City and I got so excited, and then I saw tight end 2, and I was less excited. But I do have New England QB1. I've got Green Bay kicker, who might be useful. Excuse me. Jacksonville tight end 2, Tim Tebow right there. New York Green RB3 is another interesting one because you've got a 3-headed monster there right now that we think it's going to be Michael Carter, but you've got Tevin Coleman. You've got the guy whose name I'm blanking on right now, who's probably who this guy is, the RB3.
Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson, thank you. Cleveland tight end 2 could also be interesting because you've got Harrison. You've got Austin Hooper, and hold on.
Jacob's dying. Oh, he muted himself. Oh man, that was a good one.
Sorry, something got caught in my throat. Still there. Cleveland wide receiver 1. You might need to just like walk us through my cards for a second.
I love it. Do you have water nearby? Get some water. Take care of yourself.
I'll be right back.
Oh, great. Yeah. So, he left the whole thing. This is awesome. So he's got Pittsburgh tight end 3. I have no idea who that is. Seattle running back 3. Here we go. On day 1, that's likely going to be Rashad Penny, and big Rashad Penny guy. Wait, who's Harrison? I don't know who Harrison is. I genuinely don't know who Harrison is. Oh, he's a small school guy. I forget his name.
Yeah. I don't remember his first name, but you know what I'm talking about. But right, you got Njoku, you got Austin Hooper, and then you've got the Harrison Bryant. That's his name. But this is Cleveland tight end 2. So who knows who the tight end 2 is? I did get some water, but apparently it hasn't 100% solved my issues. I'm about to flip you the bird on stream. I don't know if Jaybird is here tonight. I know he's been very busy with his 3 children now, but in for his sake, I use the term I'm going to flip you the bird.
I like it.
All right, so here we go. Let's see. Here we go. They're showing up now. That's huge news. I told you before that they weren't actually showing up. So do we want asset number, really long number that ends in 5 or really long number that ends in 4?
Oh, 5. I've always liked odd numbers.
All right, here we go. We're going to unpack these 250 cards. Okay, we've got no MVPs, no GOATs, 1 team captain, and it looks like that would be the New York Blue defense. So that's a homer pick for me, but I don't know that it's actually necessarily a good – what do you think? Do you think 7 points for Giants defense is good?
No.
What do you think of Joe Judge?
I have a take about just the structure. When would you ever start a defense? I guess to be a point filler.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. Let's see. Let's take a look at the standout. So I got a Chicago RB3 standout. So maybe that's Damian Williams, and I like Damian Williams. So okay,
Chicago wide receiver too. We love Darnell Mooney.
Yes, we do love Darnell Mooney, especially after that trade. Here, let's go through. I'm trying to. I wish I had a better way to sort them.
You got Detroit tight end 1.
Did I really? Can't even see. There's
Hawk?
so many cards
here.
here.
I want to be able to filter by like where are they on the depth chart? Like how many number ones?
So I've got a bunch of like standout defenses and kickers. So I'm looking at those first, right? So we've got Denver kicker, Atlanta defense. The thing about Denver is that they can kick long field goals. Oh, look at that. Standout Seattle wide receiver 1. That is a good card. DK Metcalf, Philadelphia tight end number 3. So we don't know if it's going to be Ertz or Goddard, who's tight end 1 or 2, but tight end 3 is certainly useless on that team. Oh, look at that. I got Tony Pollard right here. Dallas RB2.
Not for long.
Nah, whatever. Denver RB1 standout. That is another interesting one. Is that Melvin Gordon or is that Javonte Williams?
I like that.
If it's Javonte, I'm playing him. Green Bay wide receiver 3.
Lazard.
Maybe. Randall Cobb. Or is Randall Cobb number 2? I don't know.
Good point.
It's ambiguous. MVS. I got Galladay. Standout Galladay. I like that. Chicago defense and kicker. Washington tight end 1. And then who's the San Diego wide receiver number 4? Is that the rookie? Was it Josh Palmer?
Could be.
Maybe. I mean, you got Keenan Allen there. You got Mike Williams there. That's another good opportunity to target. Let's see. Indianapolis kicker. We said, here's an interesting one. I thought about going Philadelphia QB number 1. And you know why? It's not just the Konami code of Jalen Hurts. Who is the real upside play for a standout 16-point Philadelphia QB1?
I like that.
Tell me, Tom.
It's Hurts.
No. Who's the better option there?
Oh, Deshaun Watson.
That's right. If they end up trading for Watson and Watson is the Philadelphia QB1 as a standout at 16 points, that is huge.
Here's my take. That's a financial flip for you if that happens. You sell that immediately. Yeah. I don't trust that offense. The tidbit we've heard a few times from Pat Kerrane is they did a pitch count for their wide receivers and would rotate them very frequently, which is how we got like Travis Fulgham games. And I don't trust that coaching staff. Get out of here.
Here's another ambiguous backfield. Okay, so let's start going through these from the top now, right? So we've got Carolina defense, fine. Tampa Bay RB2. That could be any one of Gio, Uncle Lenny, or Rojo. Probably not Rojo. It's probably either Fournette or the guy's name I just said, Gio. But I mean, there could be doing it again. There could be potential there. So I like that one. Cincinnati kicker. We can just skip over the defense and kickers. Chicago wide receiver 2. We just talked about Darnell Mooney. That is a nice play. Detroit tight end number 1. TJ Hawkinson. We said Kansas City RB3 basically useless. Apparently I got Dallas RB1 and RB2. What do you think of stacking them?
Kansas City RB3 could be good. I mean, we gotta think about injuries too, because if somebody gets injured, then you got a good offense.
The thing is with the injuries that's where the RB1 loses or gains value, right? I mean, only in that game, only if I'm predicting that in that game, because I'm not going to play him because the depth chart's going to change. That's where the thing comes in with the depth, with having an RB3, a tight end 4. Like those guys, you're not going to play them unless you're literally just taking a chance because you've got extra points to spare and hoping that someone gets injured mid-game or some random guy does something crazy on Monday Night Football and you get this random touchdown to the third string tight end. I mean, flukes happen, so it's not completely pointless. It's not a useless card, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's a good card because of injuries might happen and someone might get boosted, because if that guy gets boosted, someone else is getting boosted to RB3 and he's no longer the RB3.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going because we got a lot of cards to go through. Dallas RB1, good.
Are we doing all 250? I'm just you do the 250 by yourself. That's a lot of cards.
All right, fine. So if you want to end it, we can cut it here. Oh, I got Seattle wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 3. Baltimore RB1. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Okay, not tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tweet out. I'm going to go sift through these cards, and I'm going to tweet out the best lineup that I think I can make, given the information we have right now. It might end up having to be a thread because I don't know how many people I'm going to come up with when I'm putting in, what was it, 130 points?
135.
135 points. So, oh no, someone said there is a maximum. Maximum of 2 QBs, 8 running backs, 8 wide receivers, 2 defenses, 2 kickers, and 3 defense and kicker. Pull up Josh Foster's comment.
Yeah, Josh is been grinding.
Yeah, so if you average, and then right below him, if your average is 13.5 points, playing a 7-point card allows you to play a 20-point card. That is good math there. But let's go back to that roster construction. So I'm going to go through this. I'm going to build this. I'm going to build the best team, and then I'm going to make sure after I build the best team that it stays within our 135-point limit of 2 QBs, 8 running backs, 8 wide receivers, 2 defenses, 2 kickers, 3 defenses and kickers. I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to have you guys rate it, so be on the lookout for this. Going to do A, B, C, D, or A, B, C, D, F. I think you can only do 4 options, so F may not be an option. And then I'm going to ask you guys to let me know how I did, and then you guys can rate my pack not just based upon what we looked at here, but based upon the roster that I come up with. I mean, it'll include the other 2 promo packs just because they're there. So all 260 cards that I have, because I'm not going to open any other packs, and then we'll see what the crowd says. How's that sound?
I love it. That's a great idea. Get the engagement.
All right, whatever got stuck in my throat is still there and coming back. So I'm going to go back to stream, and hopefully this tweet goes out before I die. But if not, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all for joining us. If you don't hear from Tom soon, just bug him at Dangy Wing on Twitter. He can get your packs that you're owed.
we do. Oh, I'm down to 1 left to send, and I'm hunting this person down on Twitter. So we're good.
All right, awesome. Well, all right. So I'm just gonna say before I let Tom talk us through the exit that thank you all so much. This was a blast. I think this was the best show we've had. Most engagement. We had a lot of fun, a lot of great new faces here. Would love to have you subscribe and join us in the future. And if there are topics, I mean, for the guys who know wax and not football, let us know what wax topics you want to talk about. For the guys who know football and not wax, same thing. And for everyone else, yeah, just follow us on Twitter, subscribe, let us know what you want to talk about. We're just here to have fun and hopefully help you guys learn a little bit and make a little bit of money in wax world.
Oh, well, in that case, there we go. Thank you all. Jacob, you landed the plane perfectly. Bye, everybody. I'll talk to you later.